Well, here's a good thing to do if you want to have a creative genius as an adult child. Die before they're 10. That helps a lot. So there's quite an extensive list. So if you're inclined to do that, suicide would really do it, because...
Now explain that, please.
Yeah, well, there's a famous psychologist named Hans Eysenck who was the most highly cited psychologist in the world for a long time, and for all I know still may be. And so, but he's also found that early traumatic experiences are good predictors of late creativity. Now we should also say that early traumatic experiences are also great predictors of catastrophic adult lives. So, but you can imagine the thing that people don't understand about creativity, or one of them, is that there's no reason to be creative unless you have a problem to solve. And if someone dies on you young and you're forced to fend your way in the world and to deal with that kind of trauma, you have to put yourself together in a creative manner, and it's no joke. And so early negative experiences allied with high intelligence and this kind of temperament that we were talking about is one of the things that fosters creative production. And parents are misinformed about this sort of thing because they think that if they just do laissez-faire things with their children, you can do anything you want, they'll automatically be creative. It's like, that's the stupidest thing you could possibly imagine, because that isn't how creativity works. Creativity emerges when you put serious constraints on things. And so a good example of that, like a symbolic example, is the example of the genie. And the word genie is at the root of the word genius, so they're nicely tied together. And a genie is this tremendous godlike force encapsulated in this tiny little space. And in order for the genie to be able to grant wishes, it has to be both constrained extraordinarily tightly and be without constraint at the same time. It's the conjunction of those two things. And so in order to have someone be creative, you have to set them a difficult problem. Great literary figures, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, people like that, Shakespeare, man, they're solving tough problems. And someone like Picasso, he invented an entirely new way to see. It's like, try that.
Well,
That's what visual artists are doing.
Brock did, but he worked very closely with Brock.
Well,
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to be a nerd here, but...
Fair enough.
So let's go back to this trauma thing. What if you are, your personality traits point to conservative 10-year-old and your parent dies? What happens to you? Do you automatically become creative, or are you out of luck?
You just spiral into the abyss and there's no... No, I would say that what a conservative child would do.
Does that make you creative?
No,
or either you are or you're not.
It's very unlikely. I mean, a lot of these things are more biologically determined than people like to admit. And so, I mean, what? If you're introverted, try turning yourself into an extrovert. See how well that works. It's good luck. Like, if you have a really introverted child, you can make that child socially skilled and able to tolerate interactions with groups, but the probability that you'll make that child like it is so low. Because introverts, for example, get exhausted by social contact. So those of you in the audience, you think, well, you go to a party, do you have more energy afterwards or less? If the answer is, well, far less, I need to go sit in a dark room with an ice pack on my head, then, then you're more introverted. And it's very difficult to move that. You can, but it's very hard. And creativity is the same way. You can crush it. You can crush it.
Crush creativity.
Oh, sure, that's easy. And we do that all the time. And you're usually pretty happy about it, too. So,
Well, give us an example of how to crush creativity so we don't do it.
Quit daydreaming.
Oh, my God. Yes, I remember that
that's the same thing as saying quit being creative. That's the same thing. Quit daydreaming. It's like, quit using your imagination. That'll really
You're bringing
work.
back bad memories now, Jordan.
Yeah, well, schools do that all the time. Stop daydreaming and pay attention to your work. It's like, well, what if my work is daydreaming? Well, then we're going to punish you because you're going to be a good worker in a factory. Oh, yeah, those disappeared 100 years ago. I guess we haven't noticed yet. Oh, well, too bad for us. And our children, right, and our future for that matter, because it's unbelievably boneheaded. But, once a system gets established, it tends to persist. And so, well, that's how it is, but it's pretty sad.